absolutely amazing that we're all here doing this today. And I guess I'm just full of thank yous. Thank you, to my wife Karen for putting up with us. This lighthouse keeper lifestyle that we maintain. We're never any one place long enough to know where we are, but it's truly an honor and privilege for us. And thank you to our great old board of directors and Tom, and for those folks all having the faith in us to allow us to be out here, to be able to develop the light station as we have, and to be able to share it with people that visit from afar, and more importantly, people from our own community that have never been out here before. Everybody that's worked on the project has gotten the passion that we get being out here. It's logistically, it's a nightmare, getting back and forth, getting materials out here, the weather, the wind, everything. But everybody, Bartlett Builders, they have been awesome. They show up every day, bright and early in the morning with a smile on their faces and work like crazy all day long. Chesterfield Associates, they provided the landing craft and got all the equipment out here. You'd never know it. I mean, well, you'd see from how scarred up the lawn is. And we've had, big dump trucks and a 5-ton Army truck, and we've had a field office and backhoes and I don't know, you name it. I mean, it's so weird waking up in the morning and hearing a truck go beep, 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 beep as it backs up, and hear these diesel engines roar to life as the landing craft takes off to get a load of gravel. It's been a pretty unique experience. We've also got the native stonework was done by Bob Lang, who he was out here a lot when our kids were growing up out here, and he has hand-picked all these stones from all around the island. So what you see is basically what was here before, and what a ton of work and what beautiful work he has done. Also, we've got Craig McInnes from Quality Painters. Craig has helped us for 20 years painting, and he's a madman. You should have seen him the last couple of days getting ready for this. I mean, he can cover more surface than you can ever imagine. I really appreciate everything he's done over the years. And then Ben Cable came out and he built the brick piers underneath, and we just love. Everybody has had the passion, and thank you again. I'll let Mike say a few words.
Scott and I started working together when I got involved in the trust in 2005. And he kept telling me that such a problem to get these windows in this building, and I said, that can't be just to replace them. I said, it can't be a real problem, but it took us a whole year or more after we started doing this to be able to get the windows. That was the first step here. And we said, well, we got the windows done, why don't we go ahead and take a look at restoring the entire place, which was a dream of Scott's and Tom's, and I said, hey, that's a good idea as well. Let's take a look at it. Little did I know that was the beginning of 2006. We got the final approvals October of last year. So it took us almost, not quite 5 years, but almost. And along the way we had to deal with the Indian tribes of Maine, we had to deal with the Army Corps of Engineers and Department of Environmental Protection. Then we found out that the way that it was zoned, we had to get the zoning changed, so it took us a year and a half or 2 years to get to the voters of the town to approve the zoning change so that we could actually do the restoration. The voters of the town overwhelmingly approved it, and it really helped us out a great deal. We still had to deal with the Maine Historic Preservation Commission, and that took us 2 years, the better part of 2 years. And we finally got approved. I mean, we're down to the size of the door, the color of the door. We had to move a window 4 inches. I mean, there's just all kinds of things that we had to do. And along the way, they said, oh, by the way, there may be some Indian burial grounds here, so we want you to do an archaeological dig. So now we had to spend the money and the time to do an archaeological dig. So we did the archaeological dig. Then they decided they want us to do another archaeological dig. So we've done 2 archaeological digs out here and didn't find any bones, found some artifacts. So it took a long time to get approval. Also along the way, the mission of the trust had to change. and we had a lot of discussions about it. The original mission, as it was stated, was to conserve land for future generations, but we now own the lighthouse, we now own the Clem Clark building, we had the Emmons house that Tom and I spent 2 years restoring so that somebody could live in it again, and we just had to change the mission so that we included the heritage thing as well. So now we've got, our mission has changed to, I don't know the exact words, but it's conservation of land and protection and preservation of our heritage, which this, of course, is a big part of it. And I grew up in Bangor, Maine, and if you understand the philosophy of urban renewal, it really stunk. We lost, back in the 60s, late 50s, early 60s, we lost the beautiful train station, we lost the beautiful buildings, we lost the movie theaters, the theaters. Bangor used to be the lumber capital of the world, and all of that's gone, but we have a beautiful parking lot. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen in Kennebunkport. So this was actually, from Scott and I, a labor of love. So thank you all for coming today.
And Marty, if you could tell us about the last time that you were here.
Mom, Marty. This is my wife Kathy and Martin J, who you might have seen pictures in the Salt book and the Salt magazine back in the early days of some of the pictures that we had when we were actually stationed out here. We were stationed out here from 1975 to 1978. We were the lucky ones to ride the storm of 78, okay? But there were actually two storms. We got the first round in January. The February storm is when we turned around and had the island where we're all standing, okay, was completely underwater. And I don't mean a little bit of underwater, okay? But turn around, we knew we were in trouble, per se, early in the morning. When early in the morning comes, you look out the kitchen door, and you look and says, oh, really? Nobody's told us that even there was a storm coming, okay? You look out there and turn and you see the water already starting to wash across the island here, where we're all standing. You say, uh-oh, okay. Since we went through the run before in January, grab the water, go have water so that we're all safe and sound. Have the kids. Marty at the time was very young, and John, who's not with us today, he was only about 6 months old. So, look at it, take our weather stations and everything else. Mom decided to go do her jaunt, walk down the walkway as the water is just washing, flooding through.
Underneath the walkway. I want you to know that, underneath the walkway. I was being brave, guys. I don't like the water.
And walked out, and she says, well, you better go check it out. Part of my duties as a Coast Guard, maintain the light in the island and everything else. I walk out, I come back, stepping back into the kitchen, and little Marty's in the kitchen here. As I stepped into the back kitchen, walked up, it folded and washed out to sea like a big accordion. And where do you go? Nowhere. You just say, lucky I wasn't in that one.
The thing is, we had some personal items stored in there. One was my son's new Hot Wheels he had gotten from a dear friend of ours. It was red, white, and blue. I'm watching that thing go with the ocean. There goes the gas grill with the ocean. And it was like, I can't tell you how terrifying that was, because I really feel today that the only ones that who really, really, truly cared about us being out here during that storm was a local fishermen and lobstermen of Cape Porpoise. Because when we lost power, I want you to understand, when we lost power, we all had to huddle together in one room because it was so darn close. Martin slept with me.
Oh look! There's a hot big wheels! Marty, look, here's a big wheel for you!
Thanks, Karen.
The crib. And then let me tell you something. The next morning when the Coast Guard finally came out to get us via helicopter, when I was told that I was only going to be able to take one child with me. Any of you who are mothers know that that's a very difficult decision to have to make. But they told me that because I insisted they wanted to take both boys with me, and I said no, one. So I took the baby. Let me tell you something. That it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. Choose which child to take with me. And when we got to the airport, I was sitting in the Coast Guard car, and a television repairman, newsman came up to me, talking to me, and I was just running my mouth like usual. And Marty come over, and when we got over, he said, "You didn't talk to the press, did you?" I said, "Yes, I did. Nobody told me not to." And I told him, and I said, "You know, the only thing I really wanted when I got there was a hot cup of coffee." So we lived for a few days, a while at Friendship Motel, you know, one of those kitchenette type of things deal. And I said to him, Marty, I said, "I ain't going back out there. You can just forget it. I ain't going back out there." So I had to go talk to the Coast Guard chief, and he told me I would have to.
Kathy, don't give her any ideas.
Karen's back here packing.
She didn't know she could say that.
It was like a dead silence. I have never seen so much rock, and seaweed in my lifetime. Thank God. I like it out here. I'm glad I came today because I like the changes what they've made in the house and in the walkway. But you got to understand something. The Coast Guard came out here one time and put a new sink in for me because I'm so short. They made it waist level, and there was red and black carpeting in the kitchen. It was the most crappiest looking thing I've ever seen.
I put it in. I would like to thank the Historical Society and everybody who's worked on this for allowing us to share this moment. It is bringing history back, and my hat is off to everybody, and I thank you very much. Now you got your wheels.
One of the obligations of the trust, we feel, is to do the best we can by every property we own. And in some cases, the best is perhaps just leaving it the way it is. You take a wooded lot and you leave it for nature, and you allow it just to grow and carry on as it is. And other lots, perhaps, you want to put in a trail and allow access for the public and allow them to see it and allow them to appreciate and enjoy nature and enjoy getting out in the woods. And then there are places that we own that have buildings on them, like Mike spoke of. And in those cases, we think it's our obligation to take them to represent the peak of their time in history within the community. And there's no better example of that than the lighthouse, where when we first got the property, we had to determine what year we wanted to represent when we did all of any renovations that took place. And one of the great things about the mid-50s was that it had the connecting walkway, it had the bell tower, and it also had electricity, which we thought was really important to the ongoing, and particularly Karen was out the door if we didn't do that. So it had some of the conveniences that we had today, and yet it had the look and feel of the turn of the century when coal schooners were being taken into Cape Porpoise Harbor, and when the lightkeeper was being a pilot to lead them into the pier. So this represents what we believe is to be the most representative historic time in this island's history by this creation. Our hope is that the attention to detail will help avoid any future problems, and there has been an attention to detail, as Mike said. One of the things he didn't mention was my favorite, was that the window up here had a 1-inch. We had it built as or Harvey had designed it with a 1-inch tilt so that the water would flow off it, but they recognized that in the design and said the original lighthouse, it was flat on the windowsill. So we went 2 weeks debating whether to have a 1-inch incline in that upper window or to have it flat, and finally we could conceded their point, and it's flat just the way it was when this was built. So the attention to detail out here in terms of making it the way it is great. And I really want to thank Scott and Mike for putting up with all of the permitting process and the building process and the frustrations, and I hope that the frustrations all turn into pride at what they've done, because man, it's something incredible for the community. And a little token of our appreciation to each of them is these wine glasses, which we hope they will enjoy out here many times, watching the sunset and kind of appreciating what they have built.
Where's the wine?
It's coming. Not to worry.
Thank you.
So we wanted all of you to be, we also want to know, in reference to Marty's point, that we've done everything we can in the substructure of all the buildings to have them be lasting. Unlike the earlier ones, all of these piers are reinforced into bedrock. There are multiple protection levels for each of them, and our plan is for them to be here a very, very long time. And to prove that we mean business, we're going to strap Scott and Karen into the middle of the walkway just to prove the viability of the building. We wanted something official today, just to say that we're done with the first phase. Alan did a great job on the building. Scott mentioned the others. I also want to thank the Kennebunkport Historical Society, because adding the bell to the bell tower was a huge deal. I mean, having it be the original bell, having it be back in place, and their consideration and a vote of a unanimous vote to allow us to long-term borrow it for the bell tower really means a lot. We appreciate that. So thank you for being part of the ceremony. At some point, we want you to have the opportunity to ring the bell, and like now. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to let Marty and family be the first ones to walk through the lighthouse, because they were the last ones to leave it. We thought that would be a fitting symbol of that. So we'll ring the bell, have a little thing there. We want you all to see the construction of the walkway, and we'll space that out a little bit. In the meantime, we'll be serving chowder, and we have a little parting gift for everybody that we'll pass out before we head back.
All right, let's eat.